All right, I wanted to make a little video to help with the ear training on this song. Um, so let's go ahead and get started. The first most important thing when trying to learn a tune by ear is to know, well, what am I really listening for? As a pianist, as a guitarist, as anyone that's really providing like harmonic structure, vocalist is going to focus on something different. But as a pianist, guitarist, someone like that, you're going to focus on the chords. Um, Even if you don't hear chords necessarily, there are chords within the tune that may be arpeggiated or some kind of pattern. So with that, now you know what you're really focused on. The second thing is now I know to need to focus on the chords within. Um, at this point, hold on, let me switch screens here. So at this point, well, how do I do that? Well, you will listen to the bass notes. Bass notes give you the foundation for your chords. Now, all bass notes are not going to give you the chord names. For instance, if I play this to this, the B is not the actual name of the chord. B is part of the chord. It's really a G over B. So that's going to happen actually in this tune by Adele, Someone Love You, is the second chord. The second chord that you hear, the bass note, is not the root. So that's it's really important to know your all your chord shapes and be familiar with these kind of patterns. When I say chord shapes, like chord inversions, but it goes way more beyond, or way beyond just chord inversions. There's more than 3 ways to play a chord. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to play, and I'm just going to go through the intro and the verse riff, because the pre-chorus and the chorus I think are a little more straightforward to follow, but you can use this template. Now, before I do this, you have to know the key of the song, so you're going to see me play it. But when you listen to the song initially, you hear that first chord, or you hear the last chord of the song. You listen for like beginning and ends of sections, and you can hear which chord is actually tonic, and then you can like find it. If you can't hear it in your head, right? That's what you're trying to do. If you can't hear it in your head via reference point, which we have been working on, then you just locate it on the keyboard. All right. So if we're in the key of A, guess what? We want to go through all the chords of the key, which you're working on. And pretty much 1 through 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the 7th chord really is non-existent in pop music. Now let me switch here, since I do have this I can work on. Okay, so the 1 chord A major, 2 chord B minor, 3 chord C sharp minor, 4 chord D major, 5 is E major, 6 is F sharp minor, and we still have to know that this is diminished, G sharp diminished, the 7. 1, 4, and 5 are major. 2, 3, and 6 are minor. Okay. And like I said in our lesson, this is the most important thing you need to get down, and being able to locate it in a lot of different keys, these chords of the key, and being able to know where the chords are placed in the key, meaning like major 1, minor 2, minor 3, so on and so forth. Okay, let's get to the tune. Now I'm going to go ahead, you're going to see this be played on the screen, so I'm kind of giving you the answers here, but I'm going to talk through it. And that's pretty much the intro and the verse. Then there's a pre-chorus, and there's variations of that. Okay, so what do we hear in the bass note? Starts on A, goes down a half step to G sharp, then it goes down a step to F sharp, down to D. Okay, So if you can't hear that, you need to focus on that. Make sure that you can hear the bass notes really well. You know, play this through a speaker, an amplifier, or even headphones. Headphones are good for that. Okay, so you figure out the bass notes, right? What's next? Well, you need to make sure that those bass notes are the root of the chord. So, okay, that makes sense. All right, we'll go to G sharp. Now, my teacher told me that the 7th note is hardly ever played. So knowing that, you should completely just skip trying to build a G sharp diminished chord. What you want to do is, what other chords have a G sharp in them? Okay, let's find out. Nope. Nope. Yep. So we have C sharp minor. Nope. Yep. Nope. And of course we've taken that out. So really, there's only 2 choices. It could be a C sharp minor, or it could be an E major. Okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and jump into my other screen here, since you've already seen these chords. Okay. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the C sharp minor chord in root position. Okay? Unless you can get there really quickly in a different inversion. And see if that sounds right. And then, okay, all right. Now let's try the E major. Back to C sharp minor. Okay. So the other thing at play here is, if you listen to the piano part, you'll notice that the top 2 notes actually stay, and the bottom note just drops down the G sharp. Okay, and if you see on your screen there, this is a C sharp minor over G sharp. So it's the 3 chord that's just inverted. And all we're doing is just taking this bottom note in both hands and moving it down. Okay? And how does that make sense? Well, common tones are important. If you keep multiple common tones, it helps with smooth chord progressions. A major and C sharp minor have 2 of the same notes. So here you go. Okay, now we get to this 3rd chord. We know it's F sharp. We went through that earlier. So build a, that sounds just fine. F sharp minor chord. Okay, you want to do that. You want to build your chord. Now, is it played like that on the record? No. You'll hear the octave, bum, and you'll hear the 5. So really the 3, the minor kind of sound to it, is missing. But if you played it like this, no one's going to know that you made a mistake, really. You know, if you want to play it exactly like it's written, you're going to play this as what we call F sharp 5. And it's just the 5th interval in an octave. Okay? No major or minor quality. All right, then we go to the D, which was the 4th note. And we're going to build a root chord first. So, that sounds correct. And guess what? F sharp minor shares 2 of the same notes as D major. So we have 2 sets of chords, 2 sets of chords that are connected with 2 of the 3 notes. So here we go. All right, so when we get to here, you'll notice that the F sharp is on top when you really listen to the piano part. So then you just build the D major chord down below F sharp. It's just as simple as that. Okay?